Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here this afternoon with Lola and Brandy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Lola's ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands. The lots of motivation and a little bit of correction that we give the dogs when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Brandy is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and she keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in her right hand. That leaves her left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar. That is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Lola is going to come home with her very own training equipment, and you're going to be taught how to use that Monday during your follow-up training session. Now Lola is sitting very nicely at Brandy's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done, and the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Lola heel. Now this may seem like a pretty simple command, but at the end of the day, this is the command that everybody complains about, or the behavior that everyone complains about, and that is proper leash walking. Because as these kids get older and bigger, dragging you down the street seems to be what they want to do the most. If you notice, each time that Brandy stops her feet, Lola has been taught to sit automatically without being told to wait for her next command. So when you're walking her, she should be more focused on you than she is, and you see her looking up. She should be more focused on you than everything that's going on around her. And when you stop to cross traffic or talk to someone on the street, she should be sitting nicely at your left to wait for her next command. If you change pace, she should change pace. If you change direction, she should do the same. She should be focusing on you and that left leg, watching you. And when you stop your feet, she sits without being told to wait for her next command. And the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the sit-stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, you are not going to use her name. The long sit-stay you're going to practice indoors as well as outdoors. You noticed she was going to go into a DOWN, and Brandy just pulled up on the leash and told her no, and she righted herself. Your long sit-stay, when you're practicing at home, you're going to start out at about 30 seconds and you're going to work up to 3 minutes. When Brandy returns back to her, as an additional distraction, she walks all the way around her, returning back to where they started. She stops at Lola's shoulders, and then she gives her another command. You'll have to excuse the fencing in the background. We have been hanging fencing, which is one of our daily jobs around here. Nice automatic sit. Brandy gives her that hand and voice command to stay. This is helping her to develop self-control and maturity and focus, all the things that she was lacking. And this time, instead of Brandy returning back to her, she's going to demonstrate the come on command. So she uses her name, she lightens her tone, and Lola has been taught to come and sit right in front of Brandy, facing her knees, and then Lola returns to heel and back sitting. So everything starts and stops at that heel position. She's really come a long way in the time that she's been with us. I think you're going to be very proud of your girl. Nice automatic sit, stay. This is your come on command. Good girl. She comes right in and sits, no jumping, and that's hard for a boxer. They love to use their front feet, hence the name. She's so cute. Now the next command that we're going to be demonstrating for you is your down from a heel position. So with the dog seated at your left, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. The long down stay you practice right in your living room. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to make it a big deal, but it's important that you practice. You're going to start out at about a minute. You're going to work up to 5. Again, this is a self-control exercise. When Brandy returns back to her, she walks all the way around her, returning back to where they started. She stops at Lola's shoulders and gives her another command. And Brandy may be talking to her quietly under her breath. Good girl, good heel. And healing slowly, like Brandy's doing right now, is actually harder than healing quickly. But you can tell when Brandy praises her, she gets that little extra pep in her step. And those down commands are the hardest. They can lock up those front legs and they don't want to lay down. So she's doing a really good job. And this time Brandy will call her out of that. Have her come right in and sit. And I love her focus. She's looking up at Brandy the whole time and trying to do it the right way. So she is eager to please. Even though it didn't seem that way at home, she's a sweet girl. She does like to please. Now this time we're going to demonstrate the down from a distance. So Brandy leaves her in a sit stay and she turns to face her. This is the only time that she uses her right hand to give the command. And she drops her into a down from a distance. And that's an even harder down because you're not right next to her. So we have demonstrated for you all of Lola's formal on-leash obedience commands. We have lots to talk about on Monday when she goes home. I'll answer any questions that you have. We'll go over everything with you, scheduling, and we're going to miss her. She's been a really good girl. She's come a long way. And we want to thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.